In the last class, we discussed about magnetic field due to a current carrying wire. Suppose this is a wire carrying current I, and there is a point P which is at a distance D, which is at a perpendicular distance D from the current carrying wire. At this particular point, if you want to calculate the magnetic field, what you have to do? You just need to join the two ends of the conductor with this point. You just need to join the two ends of the conductor with this point, and you should find these angles. This angle is alpha, its angle is beta. By knowing alpha, beta values and D value and I value, we can calculate the magnetic field here. The strength of the magnetic field is given by mu naught I by 4 pi d into sin alpha plus sin beta into the paper. According to right hand thumb rule, if you hold the conductor with your right hand such that thumb is representing the direction of motion of current, the remaining fingers at this point, they are pointing into the paper. So magnetic field is into the paper. By knowing this formula or by using this formula, we can calculate magnetic field at this point due to the current carrying wire. Sometimes in some of the problems, you are given with these two angles. This angle is theta 1, this angle is theta 2. Instead of giving the angles at the point, they will give the angles at the conductor. Okay, if you are provided with theta 1, if you are provided with theta 2, how to follow? You observe here, this angle is theta 1, this angle is alpha, so it is 90. So obviously the sum of these two is 90. Beta plus theta 2 is 90. Beta plus theta 2 is 90. Alpha plus theta 1 is 90. Similarly, in the last class we discussed, we took a small element, the element is making an angle phi here. Phi plus, here it is making theta. Phi plus theta is 90, whatever it is. So the relationship between theta and alpha is nothing but theta 1 plus alpha is equal to 90 degrees. Then alpha can be written as 90 minus theta 1. Beta plus theta 2 is 90. Beta can be written as 90 minus theta 2. By substituting these two values in this earlier expression, you will get B is equal to mu naught I by 4 pi d into cos theta 1 plus cos theta 2. Because since sin 90 minus theta 1 is cos theta 1, sin 90 minus theta 2 is cos theta 2. By knowing theta 1, theta 2 values, or by knowing alpha, beta values, we could be able to find magnetic field due to a current carrying wire at a particular point P, which is located at a distance D from the current carrying wire. Today, we will continue our discussion. You have to remember these two formulae. Depending on the given data, whether you are provided with alpha or beta. If you are provided with alpha and beta means you should use sin alpha plus sin beta here. If you are provided with theta 1 and theta 2, you should use cos theta 1 and cos theta 2 here to calculate the magnetic field. Now, in today's class, we will observe the magnetic field due to the same straight conductor carrying current at a particular point. If the particular point is exactly on the perpendicular bisector, what will be the strength of magnetic field at that point? Case number 1. Case 1. B due to a straight current carrying wire at perpendicular bisector. Here is a wire. This wire is carrying a current I. Perpendicular bisector is like this. On this perpendicular bisector, there is a point P. Obviously, magnetic field is into the paper. Now if you join these two lines like this, as it is a perpendicular bisector, this length and this length both are identical, hence this angle and this angle both are identical. If it is alpha, if it is beta, here alpha must be equal to whom? Beta. Alpha must be equal to beta. So, as you know, B is equal to mu naught I by 4 pi d sin alpha plus sin beta into the paper is the strength of magnetic field here. In the place of beta, I can keep alpha, so it becomes mu naught I by 4 pi d sin alpha plus sin alpha. Mu naught I by 4 pi d 2 sin alpha. It will go for 2 times. Mu naught I by 2 pi d sin alpha into the paper is the strength of magnetic field at a perpendicular bisector point. If the wire is infinite wire, case 2, if the wire is infinite, if the wire is infinite, that means wire is extended up to infinity this side, x to infinity extended to negative infinity this side. Now you need to find the magnetic field at this point. This point is at a distance d, and if you want to find these two angles, what could be the nature of alpha beta here? Alpha tends to pi by 2, because once this point is at infinite distance, this alpha increases and it gets a maximum value of 90. Once alpha becomes 90, almost this point is at infinite distance. Similarly, beta also tends to pi by 2. Now, B is given by mu naught I by 4 pi d 2 sin pi by 2. Sin 90 is 1. So, answer is B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi d. Mu naught I by 2 pi d is the value of magnetic field due to infinite wire at a distance d from the conductor. Now let us discuss one more point. If the point is lying exactly opposite to the edge of a current carrying conductor, or you can say that it is semi-infinite wire. Let me discuss here. Case number 3. Field due to semi-infinite wire. That means the wire is extended up to infinity this side. The point is located exactly on the perpendicular line from the conductor opposite to its edge. In this case, here I is the strength of current passing, D is the distance of the point. We need to find the magnetic field here. B will be obviously into the paper as per the Fleming's right hand thumb rule. Now I would like to find B value here. Here this angle is alpha. Here alpha tends to pi by 2 since it is infinite. What about beta here? Beta is 0. This point and this was lying on the same line. So beta is 0. Beta is equal to 0. Exactly, you can say beta is equal to 0. Then what about B value? B is equal to mu naught I by 4 pi d sin alpha plus sin beta. sin pi by 2 plus sin 0. Sin pi by 2 is 1, sin 0 is 0. So answer is B is equal to mu naught I by 4 pi d into 1 plus 0. Nothing but mu naught I by 4 pi d into the paper. This is the strength of magnetic field due to semi-infinite wire. Now, let me discuss one more case here. Case number 4. Case number 4. Here, the point is lying just above or below the current carrying wire. Point above or below the current wire. Suppose this is the wire carrying current I. Either that point may lie here or it may lie here. If the point P is lying here, so if you want to join the ends, this end can be joined like this end can be joined like this. In this case, what is the value of alpha and beta? Alpha and beta in this case. Alpha is 0, beta is also 0. Why alpha is 0? Here you observe clearly. Alpha is the angle made with the point joining the conductor and the line joining the point and conductor, line joining the end of the conductor and the point. Here both lines are same. So alpha is 0, beta is 0. Then B is equal to mu naught I by 4 pi d sin 0 plus sin 0. Sin 0 is 0. 0 into something is 0. So finally magnetic field is 0. Magnetic field is 0. So this is the conclusion from the earlier discussion. If the point lies exactly above to the conductor's tip or below to the conductor's tip, the magnetic field at that point is 0. If the point is lying just beside the edge of a conductor, the magnetic field is given by mu naught I by 4 pi d. Okay? So in this way, actually it's a vector, so you should write to 0 vector. Magnetic field is 0 bar. In this way, we could be able to find magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor. Magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor at different locations. If the point is lying on the bisector, if the point is lying on the bisector for an infinite wire, if the point is lying on the bisector or perpendicular line for a semi-infinite wire, you can calculate the magnetic field with the formula. That formula is very important. Mu naught I by 4 pi d into sin alpha plus sin beta, or mu naught I by 4 pi d into cos theta 1 plus cos theta 2. Okay? Now, let us continue our discussion with a circular coil carrying current I. At an axial point, we need to calculate the magnetic field. Already we calculated at the center of a circular coil what is the magnetic field available. That value is mu naught I by 2r. Already we calculated. At the center we calculated. Now I would like to calculate. Now let us discuss magnetic field due to a current carrying or current loop on an axial point. Already we discussed magnetic field at the center of a current carrying loop using Biot-Savart law. In this discussion, we are going to discuss magnetic field at an axial point. This is a circular loop of radius r carrying current I. This is the axial line of the current loop. We need to find magnetic field at this point because of this current carrying loop. If suppose there is a small element of length dl is taken as a reference element, from this element the position of the point is given by the radius vector r. The distance of the point from the center of the loop is d. Then r is given by square root of r square plus d square. If this angle is theta, the magnetic field due to this current carrying element is having a direction like this, dB bar. This is the small field due to the current carrying element. This can have two components, one component like this, another component like this. Similarly, if you consider the counter element to the given element at this point, because of this element, as it is carrying current like this, magnetic field dB bar will be like this. Again, this dB bar also can have two components, one component like this, another component like this. As you know, this angle is theta, this angle becomes theta. Why? Magnetic field will have a direction like this, its components are like this. This line and these two are perpendicular, this line and this line is perpendicular. Magnetic field vector is perpendicular to the radius vector. Hence, if this angle is theta, this will be theta. This dB can have two components. One component dB cos theta like this, another component dB sin theta like this. Similarly, if you join this element and this point, due to symmetry, this angle is also theta. Here also it becomes theta. It becomes dB cos theta. It becomes dB sin theta. For every element, you will have dB cos theta as well as dB sin theta. Two components for the magnetic field. But the magnetic field component, because of this element, is counterbalanced by this element's magnetic field component. That means dB cos theta because of the upper element and dB cos theta because of the lower element are balancing each other. Equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, they cancel each other. Only the sin theta components gets added with each other. So net magnetic field is given by the summation of dB sin theta. By adding all the dB sin theta values because of the each and every element on the circular loop, you will get the net magnetic field. But you know that magnetic field due to a small current carrying element is given by mu naught I by 4 pi dl sin theta by r square as per Biot-Savart law. If we apply the same principle here, dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi is anyway constant, I is the strength of current passing, which is also constant. Here dl is the length of the element, you also took dl as length of the element. Sin theta Here theta is the angle between radius vector as well as length vector. So suppose length vector is like this, radius vector is like this, both are perpendicular to each other. Because the elemental length is lying in a xy plane, this is on perpendicular, this is a perpendicular axis from that point. Hence, this angle is 90. Hence, this angle is 90. This theta and this theta are different. So, let me write theta dash here. This is theta dash. Theta dash is 90. Now, by r square, r means distance of the point from the element. Square root of capital R square plus d square whole square I should take. As you know, sin 90 is 1, square and root gets cancelled. So, net magnetic field because of the current carrying loop is given by integral. In the place of dV, I should write mu naught I by 4 pi dl by r square plus d square into sin theta. As you know, this is a right angle triangle. Here sin theta is given by opposite side by hypotenuse. So, you will get mu naught I by 4 pi as constant. Let me take it out. dl by r square plus d square into sin theta means opposite side capital R by hypotenuse square root of r square plus d square. So, it becomes mu naught I by 4 pi. As you know, radius as constant, you can keep it out, and d is the distance which is also fixed, r is the radius which is also fixed. So, you can write r square plus d square whole power 3 by 2, because its power is 1, its power is half, r square plus d square whole power 3 by 2 as common. You are left with integral dl. Integral dl means you should take the small elements on the wire and you should add all the elements lengths together. So, integral dl will become the circumference of the loop, nothing but 2 pi r. So, in the place of dl, I should write integral dl, I should write 2 pi r. So, mu naught I r by 4 pi into r square plus d square whole power 3 by 2 into 2 pi r. So, 2 pi will go for 2 times here. You are left with net magnetic field because of the single current carrying loop is given by mu naught I r square by 2 into r square plus d square whole power 3 by 2. If suppose there are n turns in this loop, every turn is providing magnetic field of this much magnitude. So, if there are n turns in the loop, then net magnetic field is given by mu naught Ni r square by 2 into r square plus d square whole power 3 by 2. 2 into r square plus d square whole power 3 by 2. Whether this formula is correct or not, you can verify. Already you know that at the center of a circular loop, the magnetic field is mu naught I by 2r. If single loop is there, number of turns value is taken as 1. In case of midpoint, the distance d is taken as 0. When you take d as 0 here, so denominator is having r cube, so this r square will go for 1, r cube becomes r, you are left with mu naught I by 2r. At the center of loop, at center of single loop, single loop means number of turns is equal to 1, small d becomes 0, then b becomes mu naught I by 2r. Why? N is equal to 1, you have taken d is equal to 0. When you take d is equal to 0, denominator becomes 2r cube. R cube and r square gets cancelled. The cube and r square gets cancelled. You are left by mu naught I by 2r. If there are n turns, mu naught n I by 2r at the center of the loop. So by knowing the general formula, you can calculate at any axial point the magnetic field strength because of a current carrying loop. When number of turns increases, magnetic field also gets increases. If radius of the loop increases, if the radius of the loop increases, magnetic field at the center gets decreases. You can see the magnetic field value at different locations in the form of a graph. If you draw a graph, the strength of magnetic field is here, the distance of the point small d is here, either that side or this side. You will find maximum field at the center. At the center means d is equal to 0. As you are going this side, magnetic field value is going to decrease according to this relation. So that is the relationship between magnetic field due to a current carrying loop with the distance of the point from the center of the loop. So in this way, we can understand the magnetic field due to a circular loop. Magnetic field due to a circular loop. Now let us see some applications related to the Biot-Savart law and the formula whatever we learned so far. Before to that, we should understand the value of mu naught by 4 pi. Mu naught by 4 pi is given by 10 power minus 7. So wherever you have mu naught, you should write it as 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. So that is the value of mu naught. Now the question, there is a current of 1 ampere passing through a triangular loop. Question is like this. A current of 1 ampere is passing through a triangular loop of side 4.5 into 10 power minus 2 meters. It's a equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle. A current of 1 ampere is passing through a equilateral triangular loop of side 4.5 into 10 power minus 2 meters. Find magnetic field at centroid. Find magnetic field at centroid. Okay. The solution, it is like this. Here is an equilateral triangle. Let the centroid is lying here. The current passing through this is 1 ampere, like this. each side of length L is equal to 4.5 into 10 power minus 2 meters. So let the name of the triangle is ABC. The centroid is lying at G. I would like to find the magnetic field at G because of this current carrying loop. We studied about circular loop. We studied about straight wire, but we did not study about triangular loop. But if you observe clearly, there are 3 straight wires lying here. So because of the first straight wire, the magnetic field is BAB bar. Because of the second loop, BBC bar. Because of the third loop, BCA bar. By adding these 3, you will get net magnetic field. What is the direction of magnetic field? Because of AB, it is into the paper. Because of BC, also into the paper. Because of CA, also into the paper. All the 3 magnetic fields are provided in the direction into the paper. Now first let me calculate magnetic field due to AB. So let me join this point and this point. You know that this is the distance. If L is the length of each side, what is the distance here? Do you know? We know that in an equilateral triangle of side length L, if it is L, it is also L. So the midpoint means it is L by 2. Midpoint means it is L by 2. This distance, let it be x. So x square plus L square by 4 is equal to L square. So x is equal to 3L square by 4 over root 3 by 2 L is the length of the median. So the centroid divides the median into 2:1 ratio. 2:1 ratio. So this length, the center point of the side to the centroid, is 1/3. 1/3 portion of the required length is 1/3 of root 3 by 2 L. That is L by 2 root 3. So this distance is L by 2 root 3. And if I mention this angle as alpha, this angle as beta, as you know, this is 90 degrees, this angle is 30 degrees. Obviously this angle is 60. Even alpha is also 60. Now, magnetic field due to a straight wire is given by mu naught I by 4 pi d into sin alpha plus sin beta. So here mu naught I by 4 pi, the distance is L by root 3, sorry L by 2 root 3. The distance is L by 2 root 3. Sin 60 plus sin 60. This will give magnetic field due to AB. Already you know the direction. Direction is into the paper. So into the paper is the direction. Now it will go for 2 times. It will go for 2 times. So root 3 mu naught I by 2 pi L. Sin 60 is root 3 by 2 plus root 3 by 2. So it becomes root 3. Root 3 into root 3, it becomes 3. So 3 by 2 mu naught I by pi L. 3 by 2 mu naught I by pi L is the magnetic field due to a single side of the triangular coil. Similarly, we need to calculate because of AC or CA because of BC. So net magnetic field is nothing but 3 times of magnetic field due to AB. Due to symmetry, all the 3 are identical. So 3 times of 3 by 2 mu naught I by pi. 9 by 2 mu naught I by pi L. That is 9 by 2 into mu naught value is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 by pi into strength of current is 1 ampere. Length of the side they gave it as 4.5 into 10 power minus 2. So this 4.5 into 2 is 9. So 9 and these 2 will get cancelled. Pi and gets cancelled. So you are left with 4 into 10 power minus 5. 4 into 10 power minus 5. What are the units of B? Tesla. Tesla. Magnetic field is measured in Tesla or Weber per meter square. Anything you can write. So 4 into 10 power minus 5. What is the direction of this? The direction is into the paper. The direction is into the paper. This is the solution for the given question. This is the solution for the given question. Once again you see, there is a triangular loop. Because of the triangular loop, you need to find the magnetic field at the center. So this loop consists of 3 sides. Each side is providing identical magnitude containing magnetic field. So magnetic field due to a single wire is given by 3 by 2 mu naught I by pi L. Whenever you multiply with the 3, you will get the net magnetic field. So the net magnetic field, I calculated it as 4 into 10 power minus 5 Tesla into the paper. Into the paper. I hope everybody followed this solution. Let us go to next problem. Let us go to next problem. The next problem, the question says, there is a wire like this. Here it is a circular loop of radius r. Here it is a circular loop of radius r. It is carrying a current I. The current is going like this and moving like this. You are asked to find magnetic field at the center of the loop. You are asked to find the magnetic field at the center of the loop. Whenever we want to solve such a question, this is the question. We are asked to find the magnetic field at the center of the loop. In order to find the magnetic field at the center of the loop, we should divide this loop into 3 parts. 1 straight wire, 2 circular wire, 3 again straight wire. So net field at the center means field due to first straight wire, field due to the second circular wire, field due to the third straight wire. So net field means field because of the 3 elements we should consider. If you observe clearly, this is an infinite wire extended up to infinity this side. It is also extended up to infinity. They did not provide the length. So this point is exactly opposite to the edge of this wire. You can consider this case as semi-infinite wire. In case of semi-infinite wire, what is the magnetic field? Earlier we discussed. This is a wire. Here, if it is like this alpha tends to pi by 2. Beta is 0 here. Then strength of the magnetic field is given by, here it is carrying current I, it is at a distance d. Mu naught I by 4 pi d sin alpha plus sin beta. Sin 90 becomes 1, sin 0 becomes 0. So mu naught I by 4 pi d is the strength of the magnetic field because of the first wire. So what is the value? Mu naught I by 4 pi. D means nothing but radius r. What about the second one? B2. B2 is almost a circular loop. At its center, the strength of the magnetic field is mu naught I by 2r. Already we discussed. The third wire is also similar to the first wire, semi-infinite wire. So magnetic field is given by mu naught I by 4 pi r. These are the magnitudes. Now we should take the directions into consideration. If the current is going like this, because of the first element, at this point the magnetic field is facing outwards. So this is out of the paper. This is out of the paper. Now because of the second loop, the magnetic field is into the paper. Into the paper. Once again you see, because of this circular loop, current is going like this, magnetic field at this point is into the paper. Because of this, out of the paper. Because of the second loop, magnetic field is into the paper. Again, because of the third loop, magnetic field is out of the paper. According to right hand thumb rule, the current is going in the direction of thumb, the remaining fingers are facing out. So this is also out of the paper. These two are into the paper, this is out of the paper. Sorry, these two are out of the paper, this is into the paper. Generally, out of the paper we will take it as positive, into the paper we will take it as negative. So mu naught I by 4 pi r is given a positive sign because it is out of the paper. It is given a negative sign as it is into the paper. It is also given a positive sign as it is out of the paper. So this is 1/4 plus 1/4. It becomes half. So mu naught I by 2 pi r minus mu naught I by 2r. What is common here? Mu naught I by 2r is common. When you take mu naught I by 2r as common, so you are left with 1 by pi here minus 1 here. Otherwise, if you take LCM, mu naught I by 2 pi r or pi as common, 1 minus pi. So obviously 1 minus 3.14, it gets a negative sign. Negative sign means it is into the paper, we can conclude. It is into the paper, we can conclude. Will you agree with my discussion? Otherwise, if you take minus out, mu naught I by 2 pi r into pi minus 1, this minus is indicating magnetic field is into the paper. So mu naught I by 2 pi r into pi minus 1 into the paper. By removing minus, I kept into the paper. You may get some confusion. Sir, it is looking like a positive quantity. Clearly, pi value is 3.14. 1 minus 3.14 obviously will get negative sign. So whenever it gets negative sign, net field is into the paper. Into the paper we are taking as negative, out of the paper we are taking it as positive. So in this way, we can solve any problem based on Biot-Savart law. Let us see one more application. Let us see one more application. The question is like this: there is a wire like this. It is carrying some current I, having some radius r. You are asked to find magnetic field at this point O. How much? We need to find the magnitude as well as direction. Observe clearly. As the current is going like this, here actually three elements are there. Again a straight wire, again a semicircular wire, again a straight wire. So the solution is net magnetic field is field due to first one, field due to second one, field due to third one. Field due to first one is out of the paper. Field due to first one is out of the paper because current is going like this, field is out of the paper. Field due to second one is again out of the paper. Field due to third one is also again, because if you apply right hand rule, right hand thumb rule, you will get all the three magnetic fields out of the paper. Out of the paper means all the three are positive. Net magnetic field is like this. All the three magnetic fields are out of the paper. Clearly, it is a semi-infinite wire. It is extended up to infinity. It is also extended up to infinity. So it is also semi-infinite wire. So we know the magnetic field due to this wire and this wire. This is a semicircular wire. Because of the semicircular wire, what is the magnetic field here? Because of the semicircular wire, what is the magnetic field here? By knowing that value, you can get the result for this question. Let us try. What is B1? B1 is mu naught I by 4 pi D. In the place of D, we have R. So B2 we don't know. B3 again mu naught I by 4 pi R. What about B2? Magnetic field due to semicircular wire. Magnetic field due to semicircular wire. That we have to write here. Magnetic field due to semicircular wire. You can easily calculate. It is nothing but half of the circular loop. For complete circle, magnetic field is, for completely circular loop, magnetic field is B is equal to mu naught I by 2R at the center. Semicircular means half of that. Half of that means a half portion only if you consider B is equal to half of mu naught I by 2R. Nothing but mu naught I by 4R. Nothing but mu naught I by 4R. Otherwise, directly from formula if you think, B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into ideal sin theta by R square. Ideal sin theta by R square. Based on this formula, if you take a small element of length dl here, so the dl is making an angle. What is the angle made by it? DL bar is like this, R bar is like this. So DL bar and R bar are perpendicular to each other. So theta is 90. Sin 90 is 1 here. So mu naught I by 4 pi. Integral DL is nothing but pi r by r square. R and square gets cancelled, pi gets cancelled, mu naught I by 4r. Here radius is small r, right? Here radius I took it as capital R. So I should take mu naught I by 4r here. This is out of the paper, this is out of the paper, this is also out of the paper. So by adding these three, these two are identical. 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4 is 1 by 2. So mu naught I by 2 pi r plus mu naught I by 4r. So LCM is, otherwise you take mu naught I by 2r as common, 1 by pi plus 1 by 2 out of the paper. Mu naught I by 2r into 1 by pi plus 1 by 2. So this is the solution for this question. Likewise, you can solve any question based on Biot-Savart law. Based on Biot-Savart law.